Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a beginning of the month for February Tarot Oracle reading. And Sagittarius, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Sagittarius, we still all have a little bit of Sagittarius in us. If you have your birth chart, which house is Sagittarius in, that's where this energy shows up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. Please remember, this is a general or collective reading, meaning parts will or will not resonate with you. Take what works for you and leave the rest. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching this at this time, it's the perfect time for you. If it has been some time since I have posted this, what was going on in your life back then? Check it out. May give you further clarity on your situation now. We're going to begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck, and we have the Queen of Pentacles. Stella, stop. My cat is being noisy. I apologize. Come here. Come. Oh, no, she's not going to. Sorry. Queen of Pentacles is the underlying energy for the entire reading, and she is sitting on her throne. She's focused on the pentacles. So pentacles in tarot represent health, wealth, happiness, like your lifestyle in the 3D world. And that energy is, she is known for being very resourceful, and also she prefers quantity or quality over quantity. So like this is more like old money. It's not, she doesn't flash her money around like people a lot of times with new money do, but is more concerned with just making sure everything's running smooth and everything's efficient, that kind of energy. And so that's what she's known for, being a very steady person. And then we have the underlying energy for the internal forces. So the internal forces are the what ifs. And it's when you're laying awake at night and you're asking, what if I do this? What if this happens? If I do that, what if that happens? That kind of energy that can keep you in a loop constantly. And so the Hierophant is the underlying energy for the what ifs. And he has his hand in the form of a blessing. And this is just indicating this is traditional structure. So this is structure that's coming all the way from the spiritual realm all the way down to the physical. So this can represent, if you consider spirituality religion, your bishops, your cardinals, that kind of energy. Come on, love. Maybe even the Pope. Okay, so she's going to join us here. Okay, you be a good girl and you purr. That's your job. She just woke up, so sorry, I apologize. She's not usually this obnoxious. But she's having a bad morning, I guess. All right, so we have the energy here is, I was saying, it could be a bishop, a cardinal, or a pope. And on the traditional level, also in the court system. So bringing justice in from the court system. So this could be like a Supreme Court judge or a head prosecutor, that kind of energy. And so this is the underlying energy for the what ifs, the internal forces, which will be on the bottom part of this spread. And so what we have here is something about pentacles. And of course, money is a big part of that, but money is just one form of energy of pentacles. You could have all the money in the world and still not live the lifestyle that you want to live. So this is more about, a rounded out value. And the Hierophant is bringing some sort of blessing to your work, like so you can let go of your worries, it feels like. Okay, we have the Chariot coming in. So this is saying that the Hierophant has been working on this and it's coming in very soon for you. The Chariot is when you're on your divine path and you're going in the direction you need to go. Sometimes it's interesting because sometimes this card can represent law enforcement because of the black and whites here. And in the old days, they used to put prisoners in horizontally striped uniforms. And that was because energetically, anything that's horizontally striped breaks up the energy and people automatically get weakened by it. And whereas vertical stripes can strengthen people. It makes you feel like straighten your spine up when you see vertical stripes. And so you think about a pinstripe suit. And you know, people don't wear those so much these days, but in the old days they used to wear pinstripe suits and it would make you look taller and slimmer actually. And also it's a sign of power. So just as a side note there. And we have the Five of Swords here. So the Five of Swords is talking about having to battle for something. And this sometimes can be an inner battle, but or it could be with other people. The swords in the tarot represent your mind, your mental intelligence, your thoughts, that kind of energy. So this is, you could have like an internal battle with your what ifs. And if that's the case, then this person would maybe represent you fighting within yourself. And if that's the case, the smaller person in the background, I refer to as the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind is formed by the time you're about 6 to 7 years old, from when you're a baby. And it's heavily, heavily imprinted on us. That's what like if we are in a predicament or whatever, anxious, you know, excited, that's the mind that we end up using. And the thing is, if you think about it, you don't probably remember very much of your childhood before kindergarten, and probably not much at all from being a baby. Most people don't at all. And so the subconscious mind is actually formed by the people that are in charge of your care. And so it's really their thoughts about who you are, because they'll tell, oh, when you were a baby, you were like this, and you cried all the time, or you were always happy, that kind of energy. But you really don't know for sure because you don't remember. And then, but yet that's the mind that's the most heavily imprinted on us. So sometimes that will form our opinions about money. If, like, when we're young, we're told, you know, money doesn't grow on trees and you have to work hard for money, and that kind of energy, then that can heavily influence the way you feel about money, for instance. And then we have the unconscious mind. And so most people say, oh, I'm a human being with a soul. But you're not really. You're a soul that's traveling in a human body. And that's your vehicle, like to be able to navigate through the earth and get shift done. So the unconscious mind is what your soul needs. And your soul has needs different from what your physical needs are. And then we also have the conscious mind, which is the mind that you are aware of, like when you're aware of your thoughts and you have a handle on that. So this is saying that there could be, you could be fighting within yourself with the what ifs, which is not uncommon at all. It's a common problem. And then we have the sun coming out. So the sun is the very happiest card in the deck. This energy is talking about, oh, are you coming up, baby? Boy, you're being a pain in the butt. She has some breakfast there, but she wants to be, she's kind of funny. Like, she was sound asleep, and I thought I might get away with not having her help me for this reading. But as soon as I do a reading, she just knows, and she comes running. She wakes up out of a deep sleep. You're a funny girl. And so she takes her job of purring. She raises the vibration for the readings. And because purring is really actually a very healing high vibration. You may not be able to hear it because I've got my good mic on that's a noise canceller, but she's got happy feet right now and she's purring away. So you're doing a good job. Now leave us alone so I can do the reading. So we have the happiest card in the deck here. And this is representing you when you were young. And you're riding this pony. You have not a care in the world. Like, you're totally fearless, no saddle, no reins. And holding this very heavy banner, but yet you do it with ease because this is your destined path. And this is, the sun, as I said, is the happiest card in the deck, and this represents God and your divine plan. And so again, this is saying that maybe you're having a bit of a struggle right now within yourself of staying on your destined plan. That the sunflowers represent, like, they're turning towards the sun, and it's talking about absorbing the sun's energy. And so for some reason, and it seems to have to do with these pentacles and some sort of injustice. So let's see what else is going on here. Oh, well, that would be explaining it. Dang it. We were doing good, Sagittarius, until now. But this is, the devil represents temptation. So, we have two lovers here. They're yoked at the neck, like they have chains on, and then they're attached to Saturn's box. So Saturn is a very deep planet, and it's a lot of energy, like about the path in life and that kind of energy. It takes about 28 to 29 years for it to do its rotation. So they call it the Saturn return. So around the age of 28, 29-ish, you have to deal with your Saturn issues. And if you don't deal with them then you have to deal with what you didn't deal with by the time you're 54, and it's multiplied, and then if you don't deal with that, well, then in your 80s, you're dealing with it. And probably after that, you don't have to worry about it because you'd be in your hundreds. But Saturn, the devil is haunched over this. And the devil is ruled by the planet Saturn. And so he's on his haunches here. And this represents basic animal instinct. Instead, like this is lust rather than love, that kind of energy. So when the devil comes in, I always cover it with the next card to see, because the devil never does his own dirty work, very manipulative, and sends in a minion to do his dirty work. And sometimes God will cover it. God's right next here. God always wins. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, so he sends in someone to cause heartbreak for you. There we have it. So quite often this card, it pretty much speaks for itself. Yeah, whatever the devil sends you is probably the temptation, and it seems to be about lovers. I don't know, you could be married or in a relationship, and maybe you're tempted to cheat or whatever, or perhaps your partner is in that position. This card, when you first look at it, it's very disturbing, of course, because there's a heart and there's 3 swords through it. But when you look again, you notice, oh, the heart is actually quite big, and those could be more like nails or pins. And so there is a possibility of recovery from this. This card represents, it looks like a cliff with a cloud, but then you look again and you realize, oh, this could be a human being. And looking in the mirror or something. And this is the throat and the shoulders and the head. And so this energy is saying the heart is in your throat. And quite often this could be, there's been some very harsh words being said back and forth. It can also be saying there's a lot of gossip and slander. And also, if you notice, we have 1, 2, 3 swords. And we have this one sword dividing between the 2 swords. And so this quite often talks about infidelity and cheating. So there's a third party involved in a relationship that involves what's supposed to be a couple. And then we have the world. So interesting now. Excuse me. The world represents an end of a cycle. So, like when the fool goes on his journey, he starts at the 0 point and he goes through 21 cards. And by the time he gets to card 21, it's now representing the end of a cycle. So I feel like this could represent the end of a relationship with someone for sure. So the heartbreaking decision that has to be made is, okay, I'm breaking up with you because you cheated on me, or they're breaking up with you because you cheated on them. That kind of energy. And this is so interesting because this just came up in my daily reading yesterday, and there was, I think it was for Libra as well. There was like some energy, or Scorpio. Not sure right now because I'm doing readings for also for the beginning of the month of February. And there was all this cheating energy while someone's away at work, working their butt off to make money for their family, their partner is cheating on them. And or when they're away, supposedly working, they're cheating on their family. That's kind of energy. So I don't know, like I was having all these lovely readings about love, and now just in the last 3 or 4 readings, it's kind of switching over to this kind of energy, and the devil's been showing up a little bit more. So I feel like this is because like we have the full moon on, like it's on February 1st, and this reading will be posted on the 31st. 31st? No, today on the 30th, because I'm going to post this right away after I get it done. And this energy for the full moon is this moon is in Leo. And the Leo full moon is, Leos are about being leaders, and this full moon is kind of saying, the energy for romance is like really romantic, but it's creative. And the energy of overall of this full moon is Leo is saying, I want to express myself. I want it to be about me. And I want to be able to be myself here. And I want to do what's best for me right now. And the opposing energy is Aquarius. We're in the sun sign of Aquarius now. And so Aquarius energy is opposite of Leo on the horoscope wheel. And so this energy is talking about, opposing that energy. And Aquarius is, no, you have to look after your responsibilities. You have to look after your family. You have to look after work. You have to care about the group. You have to fix the entire world, Sagittarius. That kind of energy. And you're like, no, I want to go on an adventure. That's the kind of energy. So a lot of people, this temptation energy to cheat or wanting a new partner or something like that is coming up. So we'll see here. But like this is talking about, this is the Pentacles. This is the only card out of all the Pentacles where the person's actually working on the coin itself. So this actually does represent making money. And this represents you either starting a project, and you're on the second pentacle and you have 6 to go, or you already have 6 done and you're on the second last one and only 1 more, and this project will be finished. And so this project could be work, or it could be a relationship, because relationships do require work. It could also be, like maybe you could be someone that is a home, looks after the home, which is a lot of work. So this is talking about that kind of energy. So we're just going to look here. This is how you identify right now with yourself. You identify as really wanting a change of some sort, wanting to make sure you're on your destined path. Like you're looking maybe for some adventure. And then this is, you're having a struggle within yourself. So I feel like it might be you, Sagittarius, that is like saying, I don't want to stay with the person I'm with right now. I don't know if you're married to them or not. Every situation would be different. And it could be, I don't want to stay with them because I caught them cheating. Or it's because you've met someone that you're tempted by, that kind of energy. This is the communication. And this is your early life, of course. And so a lot of times, as I said, that subconscious mind can really be heavily imprinted. Like if your parents got divorced when you were young, or there was a lot of arguing and fighting in the house and then they separated or whatever, or they were a really loving couple, it can really make things like more challenging for you if you're from a divorced family, because you don't have that strong role model for staying in a steady relationship. And even sometimes the ones that are really, if they're happy on the surface, but it's kind of like that 1950s energy. Like my mom was so funny. She used to say, when you go shopping, you make sure that you hide all the parcels in the closet, and you take all the price tags off, because men can't stand seen a woman walk in with a bunch of shopping. And I was like, what? But you know what? She's right. A lot of men will tell you, like they're working hard or whatever, and they see a woman, their partner, walk in, and she's got like 8 shopping bags, and they just get a sinking feeling in the pit of their stomach. They might not say so. Some men enjoy that because they take pride in being able to provide for their families in a public image way. But most men, if they're honest with you, will say it's kind of like, oh, what did she buy now, kind of energy. So my mom, but that was like the 1950s, like energy, you know, just funny, like when I think about it now. And you know, sometimes it is a good idea. Really, I don't know. It is and it isn't, but it just makes me laugh to think about it. This is talking, in this position here is talking about your emotional foundation. And you know, like I said, if you've had come from a divorced family or where there was a lot of fighting and arguing, you know, maybe verbal abuse, that kind of energy, or God forbid, for you know, also physical, it can really change. It can really be imprinted heavily on you and cause a lot of issues when it comes to relationships. Then we also have. In this position, it's creativity, romance, and children. So this is kind of talking about, you know, I guess you could look at lusting after another person other than your partner as being creative. And it is, you know, it's about romance, as I said, but it can also be about children. So it could be, a lot of people will stay in relationships if they have children that they wouldn't otherwise stay in. And then we have, this is your daily routine. So it's kind of like, it could be someone at work that's tempting. You know, and as I said, it could be someone that when you might be someone who has a partner that's away at work, like, you know, is only home on the weekends or whatever, travels on the road or works offshore or something like that, you know, like works away from a truck driver, that kind of energy. If that's the case, then you don't really know what they're doing when they're out there, and you have to decide you're either going to trust them or you're not, kind of energy. And then it could also be, as I said, someone that you met at work, if it's you, or when they're away, that you're doing the cheating. That kind of energy is what's coming in. There's a few scenarios here. Oh, and then we have this card coming up. This is so interesting. Now, this card is the underlying energy for the external forces. So the internal forces you have control over. You know, it's the what ifs, and that you can tell that it's the internal forces that's coming from inside of you. If you're asking like, what if, woulda, coulda, shoulda kind of energy. Whereas if it's the external forces, you're more likely to be saying, what the EF, like, what the F. And external forces have come in, and you're dealing with something from outside of yourself. Now, you have control over your internal forces. You don't have control over the external forces. That could be like the economy, you know, like what your partner does when they're away, and what other people say and do, and that kind of energy. But you do have control over how you respond or react to it. But I was just kind of thinking, this is so weird because this card has come up. Like, this is now the 9th reading I've done. And out of 9 readings, 8 of them have this card in it. And normally this would mean a never-ending nightmare, waking up, you know, like waking up in the middle of the night from a nightmare. And, so, you know, like if you're in a situation where your partner is cheating, you're so worried about it, you can't sleep, you're trying to decide, should I stay, should I leave? They're maybe leaving you, you know, it could be a lot of different scenarios. And so this card can be, you know, that kind of energy. It can also be, because we have the sun here too, when you wake up in the wee hours of the morning, between 2 and 4 usually, is when quite often you'll get enlightenment from God about your situation. So it'll be like you wake up and you're trying to remember what happened in that dream. It was so real, and I'm trying to remember what happened. This quilt says that the universe has you covered. There's cosmic symbols on this. And so this is trying to remember a dream. Just as a side note, if you're trying to remember a dream, don't move physically when you wake up. And you'll have a better chance of, as soon as you move physically, then it makes it way harder to remember the dream. But this card can also mean like just suffocating boredom, like just I am so bored with this situation. And it's talking about Groundhog Day. And I was like, why is this card coming up in every reading? And it's Groundhog Day on February 2nd. So the energy around that, though, a lot, you know, when we're in school, and I think they're still teaching this, like I still see pictures like this, where they show the, you know, the sun and all the planets that are going around, and they show them in a perfect circle like this, like they're all ding, 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 and they're all going around. And that's not how it happens. We're always moving. So the world, the Milky Way and the galaxy and the whole universe is spiraling and it's moving. It's like this. So the planets are, I mean, they are going around the sun, but they're doing this at the same time, right? And like this through space, and we're traveling quite quickly here. And yet we, you know, if you're sitting in your chair right now, it doesn't feel like we are moving, but we are. So we're never ever really in the same exact place that we ever were before. And there's really no such thing as Groundhog Day. Our routine might be the same, but we're not exact. It's not the exact same day. It can't be, because we're not in the exact same place. And so that's kind of, when you understand that, it sounds, oh, it's semantics, but it's not, because then you realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm like this change. The one thing you can always count on, if you can't count on any other thing, is you can count on change. Change is the one constant we can always count on. And so that's why people desire change, basically, because we're changing all the time. And okay, so this energy has left you feeling like you're like, or your partner, because this is external forces now. This energy has left you feeling left out in the cold. So there could be some very overwhelming cold energy in the relationship. And we have a couple here. One's barefoot in the snow, and the other one, is on crutches. And he's got a bell around his neck, because in the old days, if you had the plague could, you would be forced to wear a bell, so that when you came into the village, people would hear you coming, and they could get out of your way so you didn't contaminate them. This could represent, there could be like a problem with health here, STD kind of energy. I could see that would be a major problem. And it's also, if you decide to divorce or separate, there's going to be, you're going to have half of the material that you normally do. And this can also, the snowflakes can represent, like, and the snow is a very cold energy, like feeling like you know, really angry and cold and not speaking to each other, that kind of energy. Yeah. And then we have this card, is the Six of Swords, is representing, okay, really having to make decisions about this relationship. We have two swords here. And this energy, though, like you'll see, there's no baggage, and there's a person here with a young child. And this quite often can represent healing that subconscious mind, so that you have an understanding of, you know, maybe why you do the things you do in relationships. If this isn't the first time this has happened, if you cheat, why do you cheat, you know? And if you are cheated on, why do you choose people that cheat on you? That kind of energy. It's about like digging really deep, which represents this pole, like has to dig, like to get this boat moving, it has to dig really deep into the mud and to push off. And this is the rough water, and this is the calm water. And so this is rowing, this represents rowing off to calmer waters with God, that kind of energy. So that could mean you're thinking about leaving the relationship, or your partner's leaving the relationship. Okay, and then we have a King of Swords here. So generally, the King of Swords is someone that earns their living. They're a professional, generally, that earns their living. They're very intelligent, uses their intellect to earn their living. Like, they're not someone that would be hands-on, like a, you know, a contractor, or like a plumber or an electrician or something like that. This would be someone like a lawyer, a politician, an influencer, someone that uses words to be able to earn their living. And the sword represents your mental intelligence and your control over your mind. The King of Swords is very much aware that words have a lot of power, and that words can be used as weapons, and they can also, talk is cheap, actions speak louder than words. And it's really interesting. We don't have one fire wand in this. Like, you're not really here. There's no wand energy. There's no fire here. So this is very cold right now. And it's almost like, we're Sagittarius here. There's not, we do have a pony here, but that's about it. So this is saying quite often when the King of Swords, of all the kings and the queens, like the sword energy is most likely to be divorced. And this could very easily be like a divorce lawyer, someone, a mediator, someone, Stella, stop, go away. This kind of energy, that a person, that would deal with divorce, that you would go to a divorce lawyer, or, as I said, a mediator or a judge, if it's gone all the way to court or something, and you're married and you're fighting, over the material matter. And okay, so this is representing here that someone has 8 cups here. So 8 cups represents quite a lot of energy that's put into something. There's only 10 cups, and generally this represents love. But the energy here is this person is walking away. And you'll notice, like, there's 5 good years here, ding, 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 lined up. And then there's 3 cups here. And it feels like this is a couple, and there's a 3rd cup here. So it feels like this energy. So someone gave in to temptation, and I feel like one of you is wanting to leave the relationship. And so we have the full moon that we're talking about on the Leo energy of really like that fire energy, and saying like, I want to look after myself here. So that makes total sense. And the new moon will be on February 17, and that is also it happens to be the brand new, the beginning of the Chinese New Year of the fire horse energy. And interestingly enough, at this time, we're in the snake energy. So what does a snake do? It sheds its skin. So this full moon that we have, like, it's going to be out in 2 days here from this reading on February 1st. And this is a good time to let go. Like, if you're going to let go, I'm talking about your emotions and that. Like, if you can take some time to try and release the anger, the disappointment, and whatever as much as you can on the full moon. Energy really supports that. So that by the 17th of February, when you have the new moon energy coming in, and the new year in the fiery horse energy, which is Sagittarius energy. The fiery horse energy is pure Sag. It's talking about setting really high goals, achievements, really going at a free-spirited feeling. So on some level, the Sagittarius energy is like all about adventure, and that's that's the fire horse energy as well. So that's right up your alley. Like, if you're going to go for new, really, this at this time, it is the best time to make that decision for you. Because that full moon, you could release everything about, like, what do I need to do for myself, as opposed to if you have children and whatever, or in a relationship, that kind of energy. So you could really kind of come to terms with that and release whatever's not working for you around that. Maybe hire the lawyer, look into research, what do you need to do here, kind of energy, so that you're prepared for the 17th, when that energy comes in with a new moon. It's about like a new lifestyle, that kind of energy. Then it's about putting it out there to the universe how you want it to go, basically. And so, yeah, this person is done. They're walking away from this relationship. They, it's just when I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And there's this cup of love, though, coming in from God. And so it's interesting that it's coming in once you walk away. So you might be walking towards someone that actually, that you really do love. Like you may have cheated, but it's with someone that is meant to be your partner, which is, that happens at times. It's kind of interesting though, because God's here in between this battle and talking about the temptation, and then the world changes. Like this could for some of you mean that you have an abusive partner. And what's interesting, I know a lot of people think, oh, like, you're not supposed to commit adultery, and you're not, it's one of the big rules, right? The 10 Commandments. Having said that, God doesn't ordain every marriage. I don't think a lot of people understand that. Some marriages are ordained by God, and some marriages are, if it's not your divine partner, if it's not meant to be, it's more like an error. And when if there's abuse happening, then it's time to walk away. And this could represent loving yourself, or it could be maybe you've met someone that has empowered you to walk away from an abusive relationship. And then we have, look at this, we have the Queen of Swords coming in. So when the Queen and the King of Swords come in together, it represents a divorced couple, more than likely. And you'll notice they are not looking at each other. And both of them have their swords up in their right hand. So she's saying, I want what's mine. And he's saying, I want what's mine, kind of energy. And you look, he might be fighting to say, there's like in the sword cards, in the royal cards, like the face ones, there's these little flocks of birds in the background. And here you notice there's two, and then there's only one. So of all the queens and kings, if this couple comes out, they're the most likely to be separated or divorced. And so, I mean, your husband could be a divorce lawyer or something, but this could just be representing you're getting divorced. And that's the heartbreaking decision that you've made. The queen is sitting on her throne, and she's got her sword up. So she's like, you better come in correct to me here. I want, in matters of love, I have my head above the clouds. I know what I want. And so if there is someone else coming into the relationship, then she's saying it better be someone that is coming in and is in the right, is going to improve my life. Otherwise, it's kind of like off with your head. Not kind of. It's off with your head. She's been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. She's got the souvenir. She's not going to entertain any bullshit. Come in straight. And that's how she feels also about everything that she's earned up to this point, and what she deserves to receive, if in the separation. So let's take a look at this. I don't know if you're enjoying this reading, but it may be giving you some clarity. If so, please do like and comment. It does empower me to build my channel. And I'm going to clarify now with my oracle cards. And so it's Tales from the Vector, Tails from the Vector. And I started this in 2007. In 2020, I finished all 64 paintings. It's courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. And big dragon paintings. I'm an artist, so it took me a while. And there's a lot of information about, it's real interesting. It's over the years, all the energy work that I was doing and teaching seminars and dealing with a lot of people from around the world doing that. I learned a lot about a lot of things from different people, like different cultures, etc. And so this energy is... I have the website, Tales from the Vector, Tails, and down in the description box below, I have these cards here with the numbers of the paintings as they're listed in my gallery. So if you want to go there, you can check out after, the paintings. Sometimes, they say a picture paints 1,000 words. You might find some information there that could empower you. So in the description box below, I will list them as they come up here. So we have, just tuning in here, I just want to clarify this for Sagittarius. Here we go. So we have This card coming, oh, look at this. Sagittarius is representing Sagittarius. So yes, I feel like this is definitely saying, I am here, but this isn't what I wanted. It's kind of, and I also feel like it's the other person that was cheating, because you're representing your energy here, and it's not here. Like, this is your internal forces, what you're feeling. So it's like, I wasn't the one that cheated. I was the one, the external forces came in, and that's why I'm in this energy. So it's saying that, and I'm concerned about my pentacles, and I want to make sure I get what I deserve out of this relationship, because now I'm going to be on my own. And we have the Capricorn energy on top of that. So Capricorn is also ruled by Saturn, and so that's right here. And Capricorn is the sign after Sagittarius. So this is saying, yeah, your partner, it's basically straight up saying the blessing is going to come in. Don't worry. Making sure that you use your intuition as well as your logic to get a good lawyer. And the Hierophant is here, and it will be a fair distribution, basically. That it'll be as fair as it can be. And there's possibilities within the challenges here. So this is the blessing that the Hierophant is bringing in. And then we also have the Chariot on top of the Chariot. So if you've been dealing with this for a while, just understand that divorce takes time. It takes it can take, on average, I think 2 or 3 years. And sometimes longer if you're in a situation, it just depends. It depends on your situation. So there's no point in getting yourself in this kind of energy. Like, it's really challenging not to, and there's a lot of concerns and that kind of energy. But this too shall be over. It's kind of like, this too shall pass kind of energy. And this is saying, again, it's already in motion. And so the Chariot is already, you're already getting there. You're on your way. It's happening in the spiritual realm. We have the Aquarius energy coming in. So this is talking about, you had some feeling here that there was something going on, and your spidey sense was telling you so, and that's what happened. So it's kind of interesting. This cold energy is, Aquarius is very much about observing, and stepping outside of the situation, and that's a really good energy to be in, so that you don't take things so personally, and so that you can kind of look at it from a bigger perspective, as if you're someone else looking at the relationship. You could gain a lot of insight from that. Use your intuition at this time, because your intuition will allow you to express your feelings more, and also to choose the right lawyer and that kind of energy. We have the otherworldly and otherworldly desires. So someone gave themselves permission to go after what they wanted, and they didn't at that time. And it's saying that it was not their authentic desires, because it's the devil. And so, this energy is saying that it was anticlimactic in that. However, the affair may have been, in the end, it wasn't worth it. It fizzled, is the energy that I'm getting. And then dissension. Okay, so this is saying, with friends like this, who needs enemies? And unfortunately, it's not uncommon for this third-party energy to be someone that that's a friend of yours, swimming with sharks, basically, kind of energy. Also, this is a warning about lawyers. Lawyers are not your friend. Be very careful when you go to a lawyer. Have your facts written down. They charge by the minute, and they charge a lot by the minute. So don't get into pleasantries with them. Just go for the gusto, and write it down. Have notes with you, so you know exactly what questions you want to ask, and keep it to point, because every minute that you talk, they're charging you a lot of money, and it gets expensive fast. And when you're emotional like that, and you're looking for someone to, most people don't really have that much to do with courts when you think about it. What legal papers do you sell maybe when you buy a house or a car? kind of energy. You open up a bank account. Those are legal papers, but how many people actually end up in court and are dealing with lawyers and fighting with someone, kind of like that energy. So it's not like you have a lot of experience, and you need to understand they do this every single day. So for them, it's just like, they're so confident, but they're not your friend. They are someone you're hiring to navigate through it. So find someone else to talk to, and just keep it to what you need from the lawyer. Keep it to that. It'll be less expensive that way. The moon is reckless abandon, WRECK. So that's when you discipline your mind so that you're not overly emotional, and you're not, because the danger of this fire horse energy coming in is if you're a Sag, you're already fiery. You don't want to be doing impulsive things, because you could really regret it. And impulsive actions at this time, you need to remain as calm as you can be, and not do impulsive things. And also, you need to not burn yourself out by being, you have to find an outlet for this of some sort, because you can't, if you stay in this energy for 2 or 3 years, you're going to feel it. And then we have dissemination of information. So this is actually the position of marriage, partnerships, commitments, that kind of energy. And so this is saying that there's some information here that was, someone was believing their own press kind of energy. And so and there was an elephant in the room, and nobody wanted to see it. So I think before the cheating happened, there was, and this is actually supposed to be here. So that's the external forces. This is something that was like, it was obvious, maybe not to you at the time, but it was obvious to friends and people around that you two weren't getting along that well. And maybe they knew about it and you didn't, and your friends and your family didn't tell you. And God forbid, one of them might have been, like with friends like this, who needs enemies. It could have been someone very close to you that was cheating with your partner. And in those cases, when that happens, it's not like, that's what people don't tell you about divorce, is you find out who your friends are very quickly, because they always take sides. And you might be surprised how many of your family members take the side of the other person. And also, it's an energy, if someone was involved in it in some way, or your family and friends knew about it and they didn't tell you, now you don't just feel betrayed by your partner, you feel betrayed by everybody that's close to you. And it puts you in a position where you're questioning every single relationship you've ever had, which can really, and the good news is once you do that, it really empowers you, because you really learn, like the Queen of Swords here, you learn the art of discernment. And people may say the Queen of Swords is quite cold, but she's more like really discerning. she doesn't want to go through it again. And then this is the Libra energy. So Libra is when you're mature enough to be in a mature relationship like marriage and be able to make that commitment. So it's not so much an age, but it's where you are in your life. It's the stage of life you're at. And it's like, if you're mature enough and you understand what marriage really is, what the kind of commitment that really is. A lot of us, I find this, that a lot of people put more energy into looking up how a car they're going to purchase than they do the person that they're going to marry, and don't really get to know them as well as they think before deciding to make that decision. And it's really the biggest decision you can make in your life. It will, if you choose a person that really isn't, they could be the best person in the world, but some people are just not into marriage. They're just not up for it. Their energy doesn't support it. Or maybe yours doesn't. And Sagittarius has an adventurous soul, and so freedom is really important to Sagittarius, and sometimes making a real long-term commitment like that can feel really heavy. And so it's, yeah, I mean, a lot of times everybody, we start out with really good intentions, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So it's talking about that energy. We also have the Scorpio energy in. So Scorpio at its best, that kind of energy is talking about, being in a place where you either elevate people or you unite or you conquer. And the thing is if we can get into relationships when we're with someone that we've promised to be with for the rest of our lives, where we become hypercritical. And I've really noticed this with people, like, and it's not just if you're married or whatever, but you can choose to see the best in someone, or you can choose to see the worst in someone. And so, you can be so focused on what's wrong with someone that you fail to remember what's, what attracted to you them in the first place. And that's your responsibility. A lot of people do that. It's because, okay, now this is my partner, and it's part of your identity. But, and then sometimes also it's like talking about like the marriage itself. It's an institution and a tradition. And that energy can take a life of its own, where the marriage becomes more important than the people in it. And so it's just that kind of energy. So yeah, I feel like you walking away from this, you're can anticipate it being a good result, that kind of energy. Or if your partner is walking away from you, in the end, it's going to be the best thing for you, because you deserve true love. And I feel like once you heal from this, you'll be in so much better position to be more discerning and be able to be in a position to really, yeah. And we have the Tower here and a divorce on this. So the divorce card, the Tower in my deck is it is talking about sometimes divorce, but what it was meant is a divorce. The worst divorce is from source. So as long as you stay on your, because this is this is blessings coming in from the Hierophant, and staying true to yourself, and being fair to yourself. And then we have the energy of the Cancer here. So this is about really being able to feel, and this is as moving into the spiritual. And so this is talking about engaging with the emotions and not getting entrenched by them. Like, you don't want to drown from sorrow or get so angry that you never can move forward. Like this queen, the good thing about her is she does have her sword up, and she can be very cold, but at the same time she does have her left hand out, saying that she does and is willing to receive. So I do hope that this has empowered you, Sagittarius, if you're in this situation. And please do give it a like and comment if you've had some value from this, and consider subscribing to the channel if you resonate. I would be honored if you did so. And I will be back with another Sagittarius reading, and it's going to be for Valentine's Day. So who knows? Maybe by around that time, this will be more resolved. I don't know. This is past, present, and future. So, at whatever stage you're in. And, just hang in there. It does, this too shall pass kind of energy. Bye for now, Sagittarius.